Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a dip to the downside. The bears are back. Bitcoin down approximately 1% and Ethereum down approximately 1.5%. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are pretty much coming down to lower levels. Near Protocol finally dipping down, Floki, Arweave, HBAR, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is critical at critical levels. And of course, that project is called THORChain RUNE. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover in today's video, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this general market. We can see that the market cap is, kind of falling. Let me refresh this real quick. You see that the market cap right now is down approximately 1%. We fell below that $2.4 trillion. We're getting a bit of volume into this dip. And as we do see this fall over, we see the rest of the market, of course, falling alongside of it. Bitcoin coming down, Ethereum, and many others, BNB, and many others. The bears are back, giving us a bearish response. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, even on the live stream, we want to see what's going to be happening here with this bearish response. If the bearish response gives us a lower low, guys, what can we do? The trend is your friend. We're coming down further. We're going to make lower lows and lower highs. What could we expect? However, if we see that the bearish response produces a double bottom, even a higher low, it might be an indication that the bears are done and are showing weakness, particularly in oversold conditions with Class A bullish divergence, something that we definitely have to keep an eye on. So as we do see a few dips throughout the market, we see that Dogecoin still doing fine, Cardano still doing fine, and as we keep on going down, a lot of this market right now is still doing fine. We're making a higher low as of now. We didn't break previous lows. I'm sure there are some altcoins right now, like Matic, making a lower low, unfortunately, or a double bottom. Just as of yet, we're still, testing the previous lows, but we still have many projects such as Caspa, even FET, doing very well here and still maintaining its path to the upside. Aptos is getting a bigger pullback. It's down 3.6%, and you can see that the market in general is down approximately, give or take, 4%. As we scroll through, you can kind of see that's the overall consensus. But again, the consensus also is the fact that many of them are not making lower lows. Sui is making a lower low, unfortunately, down 6.5%. And as we keep on going down, we have Altcoin doing very, very well, showing a lot of strength here. Even though Floki is taking a bit of a dip, we're still okay. We're not making a lower low just yet. And the list goes on. Even Brett down 9.2%. I know that's a bigger dip than expected, but it's still doing fine because it did make a higher high. How about if we come down, make a higher low, and go for another higher high eventually as the bulls come back for their response? Right now, we're seeing a bearish response. So we got to be very careful and very patient here to see what kind of response we get from the bears. THORChain RUNE, guys, we're going to be talking about THORChain in a second. Of course, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin price, then THORChain, RUNE. But ultimately, RUNE is within a nice little structure here. It looks pretty good. As long as we don't make a lower low, we're doing fine. However, guys, the big picture structure is quite bearish if it breaks horizontals, and we'll be showing that in a second. We do Celestia. Celestia is coming down 9% as well. However, do we make a higher low? And as you can see, a lot of these projects do not have a lower low. Still looking for higher lows here upon this retracement. So, guys, still the market is still okay as long as we hold the structure, as long as we maintain this trajectory to the upside, we should be okay. What we're really looking for is indications of a bottom. What we want to see is a change of character in the structure. So in order to achieve that, we need a higher high and a higher low, or some sort of combination of that give us an idea that we're done making lower lows and lower highs. All right, guys, so let's begin. I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at THORChain RUNE. We do see that Bitcoin at the current moment is getting a bit of a dip after a nice green candle yesterday, getting back into the structure. We do see that the bears are responding. Now here on the daily, we do see a bit of a jitter right into here. Now if we stay above the 60,600 level, I am remaining in a bullish stance, and I'm hoping that we do get some support there to get that bounce to the upside. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Generally speaking, here on the daily, as like I say, as long as we stay within structure, I'm happy. I'm fine with that. Stay above the thick white line, and in that case, we can start looking at this as a potential shoulder. We can look at this as a potential confirmation low, a slightly higher low, very slight. We can consider it a double bottom. We can consider it a bull flag that's finally getting its pivot and potentially looking for a reversal to the upside. Regardless, in the short term, what we really want to pay attention to is what's happening here on this bounce, on this little dead cat bounce. We got a nice bit of relief. Now we're coming down and back testing that support level. If we can get some support off of this horizontal as we did in the past, it's a good sign that we might be looking for a reversal back to the upside to the top of the range, hitting about 71, 72,000. And keep in mind that a lot of the shorts right now will get liquidated, and we'll definitely have a short squeeze if that were to happen, to the point that we can get a nice parabolic run to the upside where we break structure. What I mean is by its structure is this bull flag. We could definitely continue to the upside. You can see impulsive move, sideways price action. Impulsive move means that we could start hitting bullish price targets. If we get that short squeeze, we get some volume, we get the market basically bullish and continue to the upside. But if we do continue looking bearish here, and we do fall to much lower levels, we have a volume gap that we got to worry about. We have a volume gap that needs to hold, guys, and that volume gap, pretty much support begins at about 52,500. Then we got another empty space below it, all the way down to about 44, and of course we got levels that we need to hold and we need to break in order to get to that zone. So let's take it day by day. At the current moment, we do see that momentum is getting a bit of a bounce. It did get a bit of a bounce yesterday from oversold territory, and right now it's kind of back within this range. Do we continue to the upside and get overbought? And you can't see in the 4 hour, the bears are back. They're pushing down. The momentum, the volatility is pushing down. On the daily, we're still pushing up. So we're getting a bearish response based on lower time frames on the 4 hour. Big picture on the daily, we're still looking okay from a volatility perspective. As long as we see the orange line keep on pushing up, we're doing okay here. But just keep in mind, momentum is still in oversold conditions. Expansion is still full force. So what we're trying to do is battle this bottom out. What we're trying to do is really to see if the bulls have it in them, and it may take some time on the 4 hour to build some of that confidence for actually for a reversal to come and kick in. But I feel like this is the time to be watching opportunities. We should be looking for opportunities here as we're oversold and looking for that bounce off of horizontal levels. And again, if we start looking at the price action again, this is the horizontal level, and as you can see, the market is getting that bit of a bounce right off of it as we speak. And if you look at the trend is looking okay as far as very, very clear EMAs facing down, right histogram bars, expansion still to the downside. So the trend is still very clear, which is great because then we can make good decisions. As of now, the momentum is still pushing down. It's in the bearish control zone. The bears are in control. So although we're seeing the daily be looking for a pivot, the daily as far as trend is still suggesting down. But just keep in mind that this oscillator is a lagging oscillator. It is an indicator that is behind the actual price action, and it takes time for it to register what the price action is actually doing. So keep that in mind. As of now, we're doing okay. As long as Bitcoin stays above there, I'm still remain in a bullish stance. If we break below and even back test it and confirm it as resistance, guys, we're coming down and brace for impact. All right, guys, let's begin taking a look at RUNE, THORChain. What is RUNE up to? Let's look at price action here for a second. And obviously keep in mind that Bitcoin is at, doing its thing at critical levels. If it breaks down, what do you think is going to be happening here with RUNE? Now, keep in mind that RUNE right now, from a pattern perspective, is making a nice head a shoulder, head, and shoulder, right? So, and we do see the neckline at about $4, a very nice round number, which I want to make very clear. As long as we stay above that level, this $4 mark, we still remain bullish, right? We still remain bullish. Why? Is because we got the previous bottom as a double bottom, and we did not confirm a lower low just yet. So risk to reward right now is absolutely healthy. Why? Because you know where to put that stop loss. The stop loss is clearly right underneath this wick, right here at the previous low. If we break down and we break below that, guys, we have a bit of weakness below. As you can see, let me get this red box a bit stretched out here. You can see that we do have a bit of weakness all leading up into about $2 right around here. You can see the weakness right into here. And I'm going to just emphasize its importance. Let's get rid of this. This is old TA. And we can be very clear about what's happening with RUNE is that if we fall through this volume gap, guys, we're looking for an opportunity based on these lows. And based on the fact is we have a volume gap. And we do have a bit of a node of volume. Maybe that's why I had that arrow there. Let's put a bit of horizontal right into here on this previous highs so that we can identify an opportunity as well. Let's say we get a bit of support there or some sort of reaction. That might be pretty good. If we get a consolidation here, we might be able to get in a long position with a stop loss underneath the structure and then continue to the upside. But in the meantime, the bigger picture move could be down to about $2. Now, if we look at the measured move of this breakdown, I hate to be bearish, but we gotta entertain the fact, and we'll entertain the both the bearish and the bullish scenario. You can see that right now, if we take a measurement from the top of the head to the base, right, and you kind of like use this as a measuring tool to say, no, the breakdown might come down here. You get what I mean, guys. That's a crazy dip. I don't think that's gonna happen. What I think will happen is either we get a bounce now, or we come down through the volume gap and we get a bounce at about $2, maybe $3. Okay, we got to pay attention to what's happening there. Now, if we look at the momentum zone where we are right now, we're very oversold. You can see that the price action is hitting those conditions of which you see the momentum oversold. The volatility is definitely trying to move upwards while the expansion to the downside is still there. Do we see a bullish response where we see the bearish expansion kind of taper in, similar to what happened here? That would be really bullish and very necessary to see a continuation to the upside. And we see that the trend again here on RUNE, EMA cross, maybe green histogram bar, maybe very likely very soon we see something, and that might be an indication that THORChain RUNE is ready to reverse and potentially get that bounce, right? So we're a bit early, although oscillators are in a great state. Oversold conditions in the momentum and a nice cross potentially happening here on the trend, which is very nice. No signs of bullish divergence just yet, so we're looking pretty good across the board. Divergence would be really nice, but not necessary. And I do like where we're at. So let's look at the setup. How would I play this setup? The reality is that you got to take risks somewhere. You know, the question is where. And if you take risks, you got to ask yourself, where do I mitigate my risk? Meaning keep it minimal. You want to maximize your opportunity and mitigate that risk. Now, the risk to reward is absolutely healthy if you consider the fact that your invalidation of a bullish long is right into this level. You want to be able to put a stop loss right below that wick, right? And then obviously the next level where you might want to say, you know what, I'm out, I want to take a bit of profit, is right into here. That's a very good risk to reward ratio. We're talking about almost a 6 to 1. It's a 5 to 1, 5.77 to 1 ratio. You're up 54%, and your loss is a potential 9.5% loss, which obviously needs to be calculated so that it only represents 2% of your trading portfolio. But what's great about this is that if it does break below this horizontal, you stop yourself out, and then we'll hunt another entry to potentially catch another bottom. And only when we do form structure do we take that risk. Right now, this structure right now is formed. It's a big structure. We want to rely on this previous low. We want to rely on the top of the volume gap. We want to rely on the fact that the risk to reward is great. And then ultimately, what about if we do go for another bounce to the upside? Now, it could be that it takes time here, you know, to kind of like form its bottom here. After this dead cat bounce, we come down here, we roll to the downside, we kind of roll back to the upside. Now, some people might be looking for extension levels and so on and so forth. So if you're one of those types that want to look at extension, and hypothetically we get a bounce here, we're looking at the previous highs as the next level of resistance. We're also looking at potentially, I would say 1.27 extension levels as a good level as well to keep an eye on. And then we have the 1.618 and many other levels that we got to pay attention to, because it could be a level, some levels where we get overbought, where we look a bit frothy, where we look like we're getting bearish divergence, where we might want to take a bit of profit. But at this current moment, I think what we need to do is focus on what's happening right here. If Bitcoin breaks to the downside, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's very likely that RUNE will fall through the volume gap, and then we'll find support at lower levels. If Bitcoin finds its bottom and gets its bounce, it's very likely that upon that bounce, we see RUNE and many other altcoins recover from their horizontal support levels, and we start to see them recover. Because at this current moment, where our critical levels, invalidation is here, and the risk to reward is absolutely healthy, and I expect some of the bulls to take full advantage of these risk to reward opportunities, because generally speaking, that's where you can take a small loss for potentially making a massive amount of gains. Like right into here, you could trail up a stop loss once we get to this level, and then, you know, extend your target a little bit higher, but at least your stop loss is well into profit, like right into here. And then you could take a bit of trail up your stop loss into here and keep on trailing up that stop loss as the price keeps on going up. Just understand that there's peaks and valleys in the market, and nothing goes up in one green candle, and you're going to have to be able to endure dips along the way. And that's the way you become a profitable trader, by holding your convictions strong when you see those healthy retracements. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. Of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. See you tonight, 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.